We live in the most prosperous time in human history, yet many still cling to scarcity mindsets better suited to our cave-dwelling ancestors. What will it take for us to open our eyes to the abundance of resources, opportunities, and possibilities available now? For nearly all of human history, we have lived with a mindset of scarcity. Our early ancestors evolved in harsh environments where threats and shortages were commonplace. Food could be scarce one day and plentiful the next. Dangers lurked everywhere, from predators, disease, injury, or simple exposure to the elements. Under these conditions, humans necessarily developed a negativity bias that kept our focus on all potential hazards and deficiencies in our environment. This scanning for scarcity was critical to our survival at the time. But in today's modern world of stable societies, advanced technology, and global trade, humanity has entered a new era of material abundance unlike any before. Poverty, hunger, and illiteracy are at the lowest levels ever, yet many of us still operate from an unconscious assumption of scarcity. We obsess over the slightest dip in account balances, harbor anxieties about future downturns, and believe deep down that resources are limited even when evidence consistently shows the opposite. This scarcity mindset manifests in stinginess, status seeking, and resource hoarding even among the most materially comfortable. Meanwhile, problems like climate change, pollution, and structural inequality suggest we need more collective abundance thinking, not less. Beyond just material needs, a scarcity mentality also limits us psychologically and spiritually. It narrows our horizons, stifles creativity, corrodes relationships, and caps our human potential. The time has come to unlearn scarcity. By intentionally cultivating gratitude, collaboration, optimism, and openness, we can reset our default to see the abundance all around us. This is not to ignore the real challenges that remain worldwide, but to approach them from a freer, more empowered mindset of possibility. Accepting abundance will unlock our next stage of human progress. Abundance is the natural state of the universe. There is no actual shortage, only limited perception. Just observe the overflowing generosity of nature for proof. The number of seeds produced by plants and trees vastly outnumber those needed simply for propagation. The millions of pollen grains released per flower when only one or two are required for fertilization. Even the stars exist in lavish multitudes, though just one sun would suffice for Earth's needs. Beyond material resources, creativity and inspiration also stream forth in endless supply if we are attuned to receive them. The diverse array of human cultures, art, inventions, and expressions reveal our nature to be generative, expanding into new complexities and possibilities. In fact, attempting to halt this expansion or flow goes against our intrinsic grain. Throughout history, efforts to strictly regulate ideas or centralize resources at the top have always failed over time. Abundance cannot be contained. But even though abundance seems to be reality's default mode of operation, it often does not conform to the structures and stories we artificially impose on it. Nature is chaotic, nonlinear, profligate, and complex in ways that defy our labels. We face two choices: impose rigid scaffolds that futilely try to limit and control abundance, or flexibly adapt ourselves to its vital, flowing excess. The former creates a losing battle, while the latter allows us to flourish. As we release obsolete assumptions of scarcity, tap into our creativity, and align ourselves with nature's abundance, we begin to realize a life of open possibilities rather than closed constraints. Gratitude is a powerful and proven way to shift our mindset from scarcity to abundance. When we spend time each day focusing on what we appreciate and the blessings we have been given, it lifts our spirits, counters negativity, and opens our eyes to the good that surrounds us. Gratitude has been shown in research studies to boost physical and psychological well-being, strengthen relationships, improve sleep quality, and reduce symptoms of depression. It enhances empathy, makes us more generous, and provides perspective that relativizes our worries and frustrations. Practicing gratitude is like flexing a mental muscle. The more we do it, the stronger it becomes over time. This leads to appreciating more while taking less for granted. There are many effective exercises for cultivating gratitude. Starting each morning by listing a few things you are grateful for in a journal helps frame the day positively. Expressing thanks and appreciation directly to others not only uplifts them but reinforces abundance. Taking time to acknowledge and savor everyday joys and pleasures rather than rushing past them is centering. Sending a brief email or text to share gratitude with someone who impacted you keeps the momentum going. Saying grace before meals is a simple way to infuse daily nutrition with an abundance mindset. The options for integrating gratitude into regular life are unlimited. An attitude of thankfulness will begin to infect other aspects of thought and behavior. Over time, abundance starts to become less of a conscious practice and more of our innate way of seeing the world and our default response to life's gifts. Adopting an open, flexible mindset is essential for moving out of scarcity thinking and embracing the inherent abundance around us. A closed mindset manifests in many limiting forms, from arrogance to cynicism, rigidity to prejudice. When we think we have all the answers, new ideas and possibilities get blocked before they can take root and grow. We must remain vigilant against hubris, which assumes our existing knowledge and resources are sufficient. Complacency is another obstacle, as we begin to coast on past progress rather than pushing new frontiers of innovation or social change. Periodically challenging our own assumptions keeps us from becoming trapped in counterproductive mental models. Broadening our social and professional networks exposes us to fresh perspectives and creativity. If we only interact with those who think just like us, groupthink sets in. Reading widely from the art, sciences, spirituality, and stepping outside our cultural comfort zones flexes our empathy and imagination. Regularly trying new hobbies, sports, travel adventures, or forms of artistic expression pulls us in unplanned directions. A beginner's mindset embraces the opportunity to learn, experiment, and experience without preconceived limitations. When we open our minds to varied inputs and influences, they pollinate each other in synergistic ways, producing new hybrid solutions. Our brains are pattern-matching engines, constantly looking for connections. The more mental material we feed them, the more combinations they can assemble. But this requires maintaining fluidity, not rigidity. The solution space is increased by accepting surprise, uncertainty, and even helpful failures. While specific knowledge accumulates, overall wisdom comes from a state of humility, curiosity, and not knowing. Maintaining such openness and mental flexibility allows the inherent abundance to unfold organically rather than forcing it into pre-shaped boxes. While adopting an abundance mindset has many benefits, we must also acknowledge there are valid critiques and limitations to this perspective. Abundance thinking runs the risk of minimizing very real problems that still exist worldwide, like poverty, inequality, hunger, and access to resources. If taken too far, it could promote complacency about the progress that is still needed globally. There are still segments of society that live with profound scarcity that needs addressing. Abundance, while generally the natural state, does not always distribute evenly due to structural imbalances. We must be wary of just manifesting abundance without also putting in the work and sacrifice required for change. Individual abundance means little if not paired with concern for collective well-being and lifting up the disadvantaged. Change often happens from a place of constructive dissatisfaction. Contentment should not lead to indifference. We must balance abundance with social justice, integrity with compassion. While scarcity mindsets clearly have downsides, an unchecked abundance narrative can also result in entitlement, greed, colonialism, or overconsumption. Nature provides abundance, but also limitations and boundaries for a reason. A nuanced perspective recognizes the need to protect what allows abundance to arise in the first place. When humanity progresses, our ethics must catch up with our capabilities. Abundance must enrich all life, not enable some to exploit it. With care, we can harness the motivational power of envisioning abundance while avoiding its potential pitfalls. The goal is well-being, not wealth. If envisioned mindfully, a worldview of abundance can lead to greater equality, stewardship, and prosperity for all. Scarcity narratives are woven deeply into many aspects of society, from media to politics to the economic system. News media disproportionately focuses on negative events. As if it bleeds, it leads. Politicians leverage anxieties to paint opponents as existential threats. Advertisements stoke feelings of inadequacy to sell us solutions. The consumer economy depends on manufacturing desire, not meeting basic needs. We are told we don't have enough time, status, beauty, or possessions relative to constructed ideals. Entertainment media provides escapist fantasies of wealth, romance, and adventure to compensate for everyday dullness. Our cultural stories glorify lone heroes overcoming evil forces, embedding an us versus them tribal mentality. Even our religious and philosophical traditions often portray human life as a test, ordeal, or source of suffering to overcome. Underlying all of this is a view of nature as adversarial and existence as a struggle. But in truth, we are fundamentally interdependent, not independent. There are certainly challenges in life, but framing it only as a battlefield, obstacle course, or ordeal distorts reality. We internalize these ubiquitous scarcity narratives until they sink into our subconscious. But becoming aware of their influence allows us to question these stories. We can reclaim life as a gift, relationships as nourishment, time as plentiful. Media choices, political engagement, social ties, all can be re-envisioned. When we expose and re-examine scarcity narratives, radically different life visions emerge. There are other ways of conceptualizing our journey. With some effort, we can cultivate mindsets aligned with the inherent abundance. And so our journey comes full circle. We have explored how scarcity mindsets evolved, but are now outdated, how abundance appears to be the natural state of things, how practices like gratitude and openness put us in flow with this current of endless creativity. Yet balancing abundance with wisdom and compassion is critical, and being aware of persistent cultural narratives about scarcity is needed to consciously cultivate an alternate mindset. Progress comes not through dogma, but open questions and courageous experiments. The invitation now is to join the conversation. What resonated with you in these pages? What did not? Where do you see abundance in your life? Where do you still perceive scarcity? Share your reflections, experiences, critiques, and insights to keep collective exploration unfolding. This dialogue is just beginning. May it lead to greater wisdom, empathy, and freedom for us all.